Red Dead Redemption 2. It is a sprawling Western story about loyalty, conviction, and the cost of infamy, chronicling the inevitable fall of a motley crew of Wild West holdouts fighting against the slow march of civilization and industrialization. There are so many things to do, people to meet, and places to explore in Rockstar's most authentic and lived-in open world yet that it's giddyingly overwhelming. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just Rockstar's greatest achievement to date. It's a game so devoid of compromise that it's difficult to know where to begin talking about it. The primary reason for making this video is to thank Rockstar Games and everyone who works there for creating this masterpiece. Never in my life have I played anything that has had such an impact on me. This game will never be old, not in story, gameplay, or graphics. There will be games released in the next 5 to 10 years that will still look like hot garbage when compared to this game. That's how far ahead of everyone else in time Rockstar is. And that is why I wanted to highlight why this game is such a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So ladies and gentlemen, here we go. To begin, the game's graphics are stunning. The game is shockingly beautiful at every turn. This is sort of the big one. There is no question as to the greatest accomplishment of Red Dead Redemption 2, and that is the sheer visual impact of Rockstar's world in every single moment of the game. There's no way to miss it. When you see the clouds rolling across rolling plains of a Colorado-like West, casting shadows over dramatic rock formations as herds of deer run through dry riverbeds and up rocky hills, you know that you're in the presence of something incredible. The same is true of a sticky night in an area inspired by South Louisiana, or the red rocks of the further reaches of the West. Awesome is the word for what Rockstar has produced, in all its original meaning. There is awe in every landscape and every small detail carved into the endless canvas of this world. We experience the same all-encompassing power of nature that has inspired filmmakers and painters for centuries, aroused by the fact that this world isn't real. Next is its grounded physical world. This is a double-edged sword, because the physicality of the world that Rockstar has produced sometimes feels a little more weighty than it needs to. But the upshot still feels remarkable in the way that so many typically gamey concepts have been retooled into something that feels like it has physical presence, whether that's the act of lighting up a cigarette or heading into town to grab a shower and a bath. When you clean the character, you have to navigate to scrub each part of his body. I can't imagine another game with the confidence to do something like that. It's not just the landscapes and objects that Rockstar has put into the game that make the world sing in the way that it does, it's the tactility of even small moments that give it a sense of presence. No, there is no fast travel, and I can see how that can annoy people. But in place of fast travel we have a world that doesn't feel shrunken by convenience, and that's worth something too.
Let's go kill this son of a bitch then.
Next is its well-written dialogue and believable characters. I'm no fan of the broad strokes that make up this game's story, but there's no denying the craftsmanship with which it's been presented. The dialogue here feels natural, touching and occasionally funny.
My fault. It was just one of them things.
How come every time I get in trouble, I'm called a fool and an idiot? But when you get in trouble, oh, it's just one of them things.
It's a good point, Arthur.
A very good point.
The game made me feel like these were real people, and it's possible that the grim tone of the story wouldn't have affected me nearly so much if the writers hadn't done their work forcing me to attach to them. Rockstar isn't shy about its cutscenes and its cinematic style presentation, even in an era when other major developers are walking away from that style. And a game like this reminds us of why it's gotten quite good at this. Next one is its painstaking detail. The true magic of Red Dead is found in the contrast between the breathtaking scale of the open plains and the painstaking detail found in every smaller corner. There's a magical thing that happens every time you enter or exit an interior, moving from an intimate dollhouse world into the near-endless expanse of a map that stretches from Appalachia to Arizona. There is an overwhelming amount of detail in this world, and the game's slow pace only serves to highlight it. When you stop to clean your gun, you'll notice dirt under Arthur's fingernails. When you walk through the mud or snow, your horse will leave tracks that match its width and gait. The weather is dynamic. You'll have a windstorm one day and a thunderstorm the next. We can open every drawer in a bedside table and see letters, clothes and valuables inside. We can pick up every object for sale in a small general store. That's what makes the world feel so big. People have made big worlds before, but the impact lies in believing that every square inch is covered with this sort of detail. And on to the last and probably most important part of the game, the music. The world is beautiful, but if there is one aspect of this game that feels actually, genuinely perfect, it's the music. I don't know how the story would have landed without this intoxicating mixture of Western musical staples, and luckily I won't ever know. When I talk about the moments that the story really drew me in, it was almost always connected to a particularly well-executed piece of music. There is much that feels cliché about all those horns, banjo riffs and thundering drums, but it doesn't matter in the slightest. The music takes the game's biggest and smallest moments and punctuates them with grace and power. In simple terms, this game is brilliant. The atmosphere in every single moment is perfect, along with the soundtracks and other background noises like birdsong, the whistles of policemen or the rivers. Rockstar has put a lot of effort to this game. Nature feels real, the noises of the river and small things create such a surreal backdrop. This is indeed an experience, not a game. You'll only understand what I mean when you play it. Never ever expected a Western game to be this kind of masterpiece. In a nutshell, it's an experience of a lifetime.